but I did order a few things. For me, it's a slight nightmare. There's a lot of things that you don't think about when you start off with zero. It is hot today, so it can go up from like the 10-20,000s to 100-200,000. There is a lot of scams. So it is a few days later and I'm still slightly sick, as you can hear, but that doesn't dim my excitement because obviously not real furniture yet, no big furniture yet, but I did order a few things and it's a shopaholics greatest dream, but for me the inner clean organized one, it's a slight nightmare. I ordered a lot of stuff and I thought I'd do a little first unpacking because it's quite interesting. There's a lot of things that you don't think about when you start off with zero in like a household, and over the days I noticed how much like little things we need. So let me show you what I ordered for the first couple of days. First things first, bathroom slippers. Next, not sure if I can show that, but got some knives for cooking, and of course for all the packages and everything else that comes, scissors. You know how it is when you go shopping, you always find something. So oven gloves, that's the first bag. And then of course towels. I have no idea what's in all of these. I ordered so much at this point. It's almost like a birthday gift. What arrives? Oh, deodorant. Good. Let's see. This one is quite heavy. Aha! Hand wash for the bathroom. I like this. Maybe I should do this more often. Unpacking is really fun. Though my wallet wouldn't thank me for it. More deodorant. We have 3 more bags and 1 more box. Can you see I was quite focused on the bathroom? It is ridiculous what you need. Oh, that should be my food. Give me a second. Let me go eat that first and drink my coffee and I'll be right back. Let's get to the last bag. It's very simple. I just got some stuff at Daiso. Wet wipes. Window cleaner, because as you saw before, we have beautiful from floor to ceiling windows. And last but not least, batteries. So when all the electronics and all the remotes and everything starts arriving, then now the last box, which again, I have no idea what that is. Look at this huge box. What every household needs. Tissues. Especially now since I still got a cold. So thank God they came. Okay, that's the packages for now, but obviously that's not the only thing that arrives. There will be a lot more, and hopefully in the next few days furniture will start to arrive. I ordered a bookshelf for here. My books are in a huge box, and the box is being used as a table. And as soon as the bookshelf arrives and the couch arrives, I think you can see some semblance of like a furnished apartment. So we'll see. It is hot today. I'm out at a cafe. Do myself an Einspänner. Einspänner. The German in me would say. So good. I came here just to enjoy a coffee and read my current book, Poppy Wars. So far I really like it, but I'm wondering where it goes. Well, we'll see. But I turned on the camera because since recently I moved, I thought we could talk a little bit about it, especially the experience and take from the view of a foreigner, aka me. First, I did want to talk about the renting system in Korea because it is something that is very unique to Korea, at least one of them. For example, in Korea we have 월세, which is the monthly rent. This one is, I guess every country has this, it's very similar to Germany, but in Germany you also have a deposit. Often the deposit is like 3 months of rent, and then you just pay monthly, and when you move out you get the deposit back unless you absolutely destroy the apartment that you lived in. So we have 월세, which is similar. Here you give a small deposit and then have monthly rent. And then we have the unique way, which is 전세. And 전세, you give a huge deposit. So it can go up from like the 10,000-20,000 to 100,000 or 200,000, depending on the type of apartment you have. But if you have 전세, you don't need to pay rent monthly. But it kind of evens itself out because, I mean, who has 10,000-20,000 for deposit, or even like 150,000-200,000 for deposit to just like saved up to even give out? So what a lot of people do is take a loan from the bank. So kind of Wolse and Chonse in this sense are very similar, because if you think about it, if you take a loan, you still have to pay like monthly loan fees to the bank, which then basically act as your monthly rent. And then the third one, we have meme, which is like buying an apartment, but this is my first apartment. I'm not gonna just buy an apartment here. That doesn't really make sense, does it? And I guess looking at it from a foreigner perspective, when I first came here, even the Wolses or the monthly rent ones, they have often a deposit of 10 million won. And if you go to a very, very low one, it's like 5 million won, but you rarely will find these. So I would say like the minimum is 10 million won. But if you come here as a foreigner, like usually foreigners don't have 10 million won to give out for a deposit. So it is very difficult for a foreigner to find an apartment here, because for me, we don't have that high deposits, and not knowing how the renting system is here, and then coming here and looking for an apartment and suddenly have to like pay 10 million won on top of rent is almost impossible. So it's kind of a little bit of a con, but I guess that's just a different system that you have to get used to. And Chonse, if you know in advance what you're getting into and how the system works, I think it's great, because you often pay lower interest than you would pay when you pay monthly. So a lot of the apartments do have the option to choose either Wolse or Chonse, and it seems like a lot of people do go with Chonse because, as I said, you have lower interest to the bank than you would pay monthly. But you kind of gotta calculate that against each other and see what works for you. Another negative point for Chonse though is that recently there have been a lot of Chonse scams, Chonse sagi, where they take your money and then run away. So yeah, you have to be very, very careful with that. And I'm also pretty certain that there have been talks about completely abolishing the Chonse system, partially due to the scams, but also because they don't see it fitting anymore. Yeah, so those are the three main systems as of now in Korea. Just that you have a little notice. Definitely look into it. Definitely make sure you know what you're getting into, and always have like an emergency fund and some money saved. That's the most important advice I could give you. For now, I think I might just read my book and then, enjoy my coffee, even though it's super hot outside. I was just scared at it. I was so awkward filming in public. Anyway, so now you know the three systems in Korea, and you can prepare a little bit before you move here if you're considering moving here. But I'm just gonna read my book now. Actually looks like an apartment now. Well, here we are in Korea looking for an apartment, but where do you even start? I had the same questions, so let me tell you all about it so you can avoid wasting your time and my mistakes. So, as far as I know, well, at least what I found out, you have a few options here in Korea. The first one would be Naver Budongsan, which is like your typical property website where you can see certain properties that are on the market, and you can also put in some filters, for example, like price and all that. The good old rental websites where you can always kind of find something. The next things would be apps. Apps are big in Korea for basically anything and everything. And I'm pretty sure I don't have to explain you how apps work. And number three would be to go and get an actual real estate agent that help you find stuff and rent it out. There are little offices basically in every neighborhood here called budongsan. And yeah, as I said, you go there, you explain you what you want, and then they help you. Now that you have these three options, let's talk about the pros and cons. We'll start with the websites. I specifically mentioned Naver Budongsan because I used that a lot in the beginning, and it was okay to use. It is a I would recommend it for introverts because you can sit at home at your computer and just check out everything. You can put in the filter for like how much square meters you want, or how many rooms you want, or what is your price range, and all these things you can put in. Though, and here's the negative, it is in Korean, so you have to have a certain level of Korean, or at least like a certain level of understanding of the Korean language, or a really good translator or Korean friend to help you. Otherwise, I imagine it's going to be a little bit hard, especially also because Koreans don't work in square meters. They work in something that's called pyong, and that is basically Korean square meters, but it's like not 1-to-1 ratio, so it's quite difficult. But I guess if you put in like I want 2 rooms or whatever, then that can at least help you a little bit. Another thing is you have to contact them yourself. So if you like a house, an apartment, a house, whatever you're looking for, if you like it, then there's a contact number and you have to contact them yourself and say that you're interested and looking to well, take a look at the apartment and then schedule an appointment to actually see the apartment, which can be, again, if you don't speak Korean, a little bit taxing. And with that argument, we're also getting into the second option that I showed you here in Korea on how to even find an apartment or house, which would be apps. But there is a lot of scams where they advertise for a house, and then maybe the condition of the house is not as good as they want it to seem. So they just use pictures from other houses. And then when you contact them, which again, this is an app, so if you're interested in something, you again have to do that all on your own and contact them. They will tell you, oh, this house is already taken, but I have another house that is quite similar and has all the requirements that you wanted, and then they take you to that house that you were actually looking at, but you got kind of baited by the pictures of the better looking house, you know, the renovated one or the one that's not like 40 years old. You know what I mean? So there's definitely this known scam, so you do have to be very careful about it. But hey, proceed with caution. I gave you a warning, and everything else you're responsible for. And then lastly, we have the real estate agencies, the budongsan. Uh, Literally, if you once know what you're looking for, there are multiple in every neighborhood. And I'm pretty sure nowadays it is also quite possible to find some that speak English or are kind of a little bit more specialized in foreigner, helping foreigner. So they speak English really well. I went to my local Pudongsan real estate agency and told them exactly what I wanted. ABC, how many rooms, what is my price range, and what kind of area I wanted to rent, you know. And what was a huge plus for me was that they looked through like their personal real estate agent secret website where a lot of more houses are posted than on for example apps or like Naver Budongsan, and they show it to you, and if you say yes, then they will schedule all the appointments for you. But I also did this with my real estate agent. I would send her a few apartments that I was also looking for in my free time. Obviously, I wasn't just sitting like, you do all this, lady, I'm just waiting for an offer. I was also gonna go home and look a few more, because you never know, right? You want to really put some effort in. So I would also send her some that I was interested in, and she would contact them for me, and then make all these appointments, and then come with you, be like a second little guardian in this sense, because then there's another Korean there, and they can really rip you off, because you usually meet then the other real estate agent that is responsible for putting the apartment that you want to see on the market. That worked out great for me. So honestly, whatever you want to do is up for you. I mean, I'm merely speaking for long-term renters here, because I'm not leaving in a year, and I've been here for 4 years now. So for me, it wasn't a short term, like for half a year or for a year, and then I knew I was going. So I was looking for something long term. I could give you another tip. If you're looking not for long term but for short term, the best you can do is actually doing Facebook groups. I know in a lot of the part of the world, like, Facebook is not used that often anymore. At least that's what it's like in Germany. But I've learned here in Korea, there are a shit ton of groups, like so many groups you wouldn't believe. And if you're a student, for example, who comes here for like half a year and you don't want to live in the dormitory, Facebook groups are a very good alternative. They have some good prices on there, and you can get a room, either living with other people together or get like a smaller house and like live alone. So that would be another tip. But my main focus, because that's my situation right now, I was mainly talking about long-term renters. I think in the end, yeah, if I had to rate it, I would probably say real estate agent number 1, I would recommend. Naver Budongsan number 2, and then on last place, just purely because of the scams, I would say number 3 is the apps. But that is only my personal opinion. Make of that what you will. I hope I could help a little bit or inform a little bit. Me yapping about gave you some helpful information. And with that, that's the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or any suggestions. Love you all. Bye bye.